All right. This is the meeting of the library trustees assigned to Fairfield Public Library. It is June 27th, 5:05 p.m. And we do have a quorum. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll try to keep the chicken and duck noise down in the back. All right, everyone should have received the May 23 minutes. Are there any questions, comments, changes to those? Hearing none, I will accept a motion to accept the minutes as written. Anyone want to make a motion?
I wasn't at the meeting, so I'm not sure I can.
Oh, yeah.
I did read the minutes.
Yeah, you can read them.
That's good. That's okay to move it then?
Sure.
All
right, a second.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, minutes are accepted. Moving on to financial report.
Well, the fiscal year is almost over. We're looking to turn back a lot of money in personnel because we were over budgeted for the year, given the personnel that we have. And for operations, it's a tighter. We've got $852 left. Our last electric bill, the electric bills work weird because we pay Con Edison Development, or what recently turned into REI or something. I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's the company that the town let build all these solar farms. And that generates a credit for the town. So Gene divvies those credits out towards departments and we pay them. And towards the end of the fiscal year, Gene hopes that all the credits will be spent down and then we'll go back to paying National Grid. But my most recent, Con Edison development bill was over $1,000. And my most recent National Grid bill showed a $3,100 credit account balance. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to suss out yet. Gene's probably going to try to reclass. It basically means that we overpaid on what we should have been paying electrical credit earlier in the year, and we should get it back. We've got until Thursday to fix this. And then that would put actually a lot of infusion of money into our operations that I wasn't expecting before that I could use to buy ebooks, on June 30th before it goes away. So I don't know how that's going to work out yet. We'll be good either way. But it's an interesting little story. And I thought since there was extra room at the bottom of the page, I would break out how the circulation materials have been broken down, because you always see this line item that just says circulating material. We've spent $57,952 on circulating material this year. What does that mean? Well, $250 about was for audiobooks, $35,000 was for books, $18,000 was for digital material, $903 were for mobile hotspots, $1,739 for magazines, $419 we've spent on streaming video, and $2,176 on DVDs.
Justin, are audiobooks in the where do audiobooks come in?
We haven't bought any audiobooks because we've been spending that money on digital audiobooks in Libby. Well, so the audio CDs are music CDs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, audiobooks, so we can borrow them though. So, but we haven't bought any.
Yeah, we can still borrow them from other libraries that are maintaining collections, but the collections are thinning out because they're not circulating anymore. The prices are going up the same way they are with DVDs, and a lot of people don't even have CD players anymore. I mean, what they circed, the population that really liked them was people who listened to audiobooks in their car.
I don't mean audio books. I mean just like I borrow books on my Kindle and Cliff does them on his phone. That's an audio book.
No, yeah, that's part of the e-material that we spend. That's part of that $18,000 line item.
All right. Okay, that's what I was looking at. Okay.
I have a question. I don't understand why you use the term circulation materials. Back in the day when there were reference books like encyclopedias, those would be part of your book budget and stuff like that. And I think I looked it up recently within the last 6 months to a year, that it's for materials bought, that don't necessarily circulate, but they are there. And you might want to get a better definition of what materials are, whether they're informational, like all these things listed here, or if other things. You probably have it in your mind, what it is that you can use the money for, but it's not just for circulation materials. It's for materials that maybe reference reading or listening or something like that. But it's
we don't have any non-circulating material, but the reason it's classified that way under one lump is that's the line item that we have to track to make sure that it accounts for 19% of our operational budget.
Right. Okay.
Because everything that
I don't think in the state law
category does.
The state law just says 19% of our budget has to be spent on materials. It doesn't have anything about circulating. So
it has to be materials we share with other libraries.
If you just eliminate the word circulating and circulation and just have materials. But that's okay. I obviously nobody else supports this, but it's incredibly crazy for years. So.
Really, but to me, circulating means that it's going in and out, and people are looking at it's in the arena of moving, reading, listening. So I know that's kind of amorphous, but
so if it's circulating materials, does it include computers that you lend out and lend in?
Yes, it does. It includes the laptop purchases that we did last year. We're able to qualify as circulating material expenses because anyone in the Commonwealth can walk into the library and use them. That's what the law basically gets down to. And it's going to hurt us next year a little bit because we're no longer going to be allowed to use our cost per circ overdrive titles aren't going to be able to qualify as circulating materials. Because those aren't shared with everyone in the Commonwealth. They're only available to Douglas residents, so they're cutting that off. So now, if I want anything I buy in overdrive to qualify next year towards this 19% expenditure requirement, it'll have to be like one copy, one use licenses instead of cost per circs.
Wow.
That's crazy. So mobile hotspots.
My purchasing a lot.
Yeah.
So how are you going to address that?
I'm not sure yet. I just found that out earlier today.
Oh.
They're starting to do the ERAS training workshops, talking about what's going to change in FY24 reporting versus FY23 reporting. Because ERAS survey opens up next month. It's about time.
So, but every library is going to be faced with that same thing, right?
Yes, they will. Of course, not a lot of libraries have invested a lot in overdrive CPC the way we have. I think it's more just of like a technical hurdle. A lot of directors aren't comfortable with it. They aren't comfortable with the technology, so they've ignored it. and just continued either using one copy, one use titles, or they've just surfed on whatever's provided by the consortium instead of providing anything extra. You'd be surprised at the number of libraries that don't pump anything into e-materials besides what CWMRS provides. It's a little bit disgusting, if you ask me.
That is surprising, yeah. That's a big missed opportunity.
But anywho, private accounts, not a lot of change since last month, except for building donations with interest has gone up.
Oh, you're doing this? Let me just put, I looked at the May 31st and I lost it, and then Justin had to resubmit it to me. But as of May 31st, we had $93,090.49 in Bartholomew, and this was due to the Friends giving some of their leftover cash from last year, and also the plant and book sale, and picking up the contributions that Danielle's been doing around town. So that's nice.
It's growing.
All right, are we good with financial report?
Yes.
All right, moving on to director's report.
Circulation continues to be record setting. We circulated 2,090 books in
Wow.
May. And May is usually one of our quieter months. So this was, the circuit's just going great. Weeding projects are continuing throughout the collection because we've got a lot of shelves that are tight. So we're moving some stuff up to the attic. We're moving a few months ago. We tried to ramp up a writing club, and they ended up calling themselves the Creative Engines. And they met every other Thursday. But due to basically the leader of the group no longer being able to facilitate, we're going to move it to Tuesday nights at the first Tuesday of every month at 6:30. Which is just going to mean that every Tuesday at 6:30, there's something going on at the library for adults. It just kind of seems to be our time. And summer reading and summer story time start on July 10th. That'll be exciting.
And what's the theme for that?
Oh gosh, finding your voice, maybe?
Sounds good.
I can tell you. But yeah, that is all Deb's wheelhouse, and she's been on vacation since the beginning of last week. She got all her stuff ready to go, and then got out of Dodge while she could, even though I don't think she's actually going anywhere. No, I know she's not, because she was here today. People can't stay away from the library, even when they're on vacation. Finding your voice.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any special programs that you're doing because you used to do it on Wednesdays or something like that?
Every Wednesday morning at 10:30.
It will be
There'll
a special program.
Going on. Yep.
Yeah.
They are. Oh no, I don't want to leave the Zoom meeting. Yeah, the first one, summer reading story time starts on July 10th, and that's when the kickoff is for tracking and all that stuff. And then Wednesday is the Find Your Voice kickoff, and that is dancing, sing, dance, and join in with Diane's musical stories. Diane Edgecombe.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, ready to move on to old business. It's getting bright out here. Building projects, building program.
So far, we have 116 responses to our survey, which is good. So I've heard.
That's good.
The first two focus groups generated a lot of useful input. The next one is July 6th at noon. Kate and Dana are registered for it. So there's room for 2 more trustees if any of y'all want to jump in. Mary is working on the history and demographic pieces right now. And since we don't have any more focus groups until after July 4th, this is just kind of a quiet spell where I'm just, forcing paper copies of the survey into the hands of everybody who walks into the building and telling them they have to fill them out.
Or no books for you.
Or no books for you.
Have you had a good response from the selectmen?
I don't know if any of them have taken the survey. We had one selectman who was supposed to be at the last building focus group who did not come. And the next one, I can't remember if we have a selectman scheduled for that one or not. But they all seem very supportive. They just don't want to come to noon meetings.
Well, that's okay. But I mean, I would feel that their input would be very important. And that if you could somehow influence them by just attending the next selectmen's meeting and give to each of the selectmen, a survey and said, we'd really appreciate it if you fill it out.
Show up at your meeting and give them one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then that's an opportunity to also announce to other people that I think I'm the only one that listens to the selectmen's meeting online, the day of the meeting. So, but other people do listen to it later on.
So I'm assuming, should we trustees fill out the survey?
Yes, please.
I don't know. I started to, and then I was like, should we?
Yep. You're a Douglas patron. I mean, you use the library, so your opinion matters.
That is very true.
Oh, and I meant to say, if any of you do want like a stack of print copies to give away, then I'll happily make some.
Yeah, I need to email that around. Actually.
Well, I only need one, so I'll grab. Okay.
Okie doke.
Thanks again.
All right. Are we good with building program for now? Continuing on with building program.
All right. Yeah, I guess we're still talking about the building program. The building program is the first step in getting to handicap access. It's collecting data, it's building community interest, it's building input, and people are excited about the possibility of renovating the library. There seems to be a lot of enthusiasm. There's definitely a desire, but not everyone is excited about the grant process. It's an extremely involved process on behalf of the MBLC. And I know that, a lot of you on the board have lived through this before, and things have gotten better, but the requirements are still pretty, strict. If we want to apply in March 2024, we still have to do a building conditions assessment, which I originally thought was rolled into the building program because it has what they call a building needs assessment. But the needs assessment and the conditions assessment are different things. The conditions assessment has to be done by an architectural firm, and that's where they come in and they look for everything that's wrong and give you a detailed report of all the things that are wrong and need fixing and what you would have to go through to do it. It costs between $10,000 and $60,000, and it's a dice that if you roll can have unintended consequences, as was pointed out to me by Matt. So that's something to be cognizant of, because I mean, if we apply for the grant in March, it's something we'll have to do in the winter or in the spring. And even, like if you do that and then it comes up with something that, is a safety issue, which is required, that you either have to fix immediately or vacate the building. I mean, we still may not get the grant, which would leave us in a very awkward spot. Whereas, like that, if we were doing our own thing without going through the MBLC grant project, that's not something that we would have to do ahead of a project. It's something that could be wrapped into a project. So I mean, it's kind of still, I think,
Part that
the
would
jury.
that would be the MBLC would pay for part of that if we did get the grant. Is that part?
I mean, if we get the grant, yeah, they'll pay for the redesign along with everything else, or they'll pay between 45 and 65% of it, depending on community need.
Okay.
Wow.
And how do they determine community need?
It's that, it's something called
Population?
Well, it's EQV, equalized. Hold on, EQV. Equalized. Oh, where is it at? I know what our number is. Number can't see. Basically, every community gets a number based on, the mean property value and income per capita.
Mm-hmm.
And so every grant application is weighted against that, so that, like your poorer communities with more need will get weighted over richer communities with higher need, or richer communities with lower need. And I think it's called EQV.
But it equalizes it.
Yes, it's an equalizer. And it's an equalizer that does not work in Douglas's favor.
Is the grant
More
going
like
to
45?
Would
Douglas be more like 45% that they would reimburse?
Yeah, it would be on the lower side rather than the higher side.
What were the two things that I see one of them here, the building conditions assessment, but you also mentioned something else in the same
building needs assessment, that it's part of what Mary Brainey's preparing as part of the building program.
Okay. Building needs assessment, and that's done by Mary.
Yes.
And then the building conditions assessment is done by an architectural firm.
Yes.
Okay.
Is the grant still asking us to go out 20 years for our needs?
Yes, it is. So my feelings about the grant remain very lukewarm. And my impression is that the board's feelings about the grants are lukewarm. The town administrator's position on the grant is that it is an extremely arduous process, which is complicated and unnecessarily Byzantine. Prepared by Boston technocrats who are out of touch with what's going on in central Massachusetts. And, I'm the more webinars I attend and the more, I'm going through and looking into and diving into this process, the more I kind of agree that it is. It's just a giant chunk of change to leave on the table if you could get all the moving pieces to work.
Does the town administrator see another path to getting our renovation?
I asked, you know, like what alternatives he saw, and if he advised at this point, you know, continuing with the grant or not. And, you know, his response was, you know, like we're doing exactly what we should be doing right now by collecting information, collecting data, and doing the building program, and then see what happens from there. Because I mean, I think that we're going to come out of the building program assessment with a clear, you know, picture that states that people want the library to be here, and they don't want, you know, that they want things, but they don't want an exorbitant amount of things. You know, like I'm sure there are people who would love to have, you know, the best possible library for all possible people in Douglas. But I think that there's a lot more people who would rather have the best possible library we can build within, you know, what's kind of understood to be the means of the community. Cheaper, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know if the architectural firm that they've somewhat got on retainer that we go through, is that someone qualified in handicapped access, or is that just a general architect group?
I asked Matt about them, and he said we would not want to pay their prices.
I thought it was in conjunction with the town
They
that they had hired of them.
I'm not sure what the agreement is between them, but anything that they're contracted for still has to be paid on a project basis. So if we were to contract them, they would work with us, but we would be paying a firm that specializes more in really, really big techno kind of stuff, you know, not, you know, downscale municipal building stuff.
So we would be free to choose an architect of our choosing.
Well, we'd still have to go through procurement process and all that jazz if we got to the point of design and all that stuff.
From the capital committee point of view, they chose this firm, the building and facilities committee did, I think, based on not wanting to go through a constant bidding process for every architectural firm, because there was the highway barn was being considered, work on the fire station was being considered, the police department is being considered, you know, so they wanted some in-house type of architect that they could ask questions of. And then if they were used for, or if the town supported something like the highway barn, then the highway, then that would be their specific focus, being paid by the town to do, you know, that they would have to get it approved by town meeting or whatever money that it costs to do architectural drawings. So it was initially sort of a nice way to have an in-house consultant, and then you say, okay, yeah, we agree. And so that, you know, we could go on with stuff like what Aaron Sokrat had designed, or, you know, if we all agreed on it, or what we wanted. And so that was my impression from what they were talking about through capital for those types of things.
Well, it seems like we're doing what we need to be doing with the building program, and just keep all this in mind and see what we come up with, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think will be interesting, you know, that I'm hoping that Mary isn't just concentrating on the MBLC grant, that she can recommend to us what she sees also as a logical route for us to go.
Mhm.
For the
That's a conversation we will have to have with her after the data collection phase. Once we have all the, because she's going to prepare survey reports and, you know, all this focus group data collection up for us.
Okay.
And then, you know, it's, do we tool the building program around, you know, checklisting MBLC requirements, or do we make it what we want it to be?
Okay.
So just things to think about. It like there's this process won't be done. You know, we'll probably be talking about it at the August meeting, the results and all that stuff. I'm assuming we will be.
All right. Any other thoughts before we move on? All right, let's move on to other quotes.
Quotes. So Jeff Grenier came and took a look at the bathroom outlet that he had installed a couple years ago on the off chance that we put in a tankless water heater, moving it to the basement so Rebecca has access to it from the archive, and replacing the caps that we put over the open sockets on the main floor with some compliant outlet covers. So that patrons can plug in their devices again. And he said he could do it for $735.
That sounds good.
So I support this. I'd like to make a motion that we use LIG MEG money for to pay for the reinstall of the bathroom outlets in the archive and replace some of the caps with compliant outlets on the main floor.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Motion passes.
All right. As for the concrete or the bricks in the basement, I've been playing phone tag with BuildMax for repointing and sealing them for a month now. We're on round 3. So if I don't hear back from them by next week, I'll start escalating to where I just call every day, I reckon, until I get a hold of them, because I do want them, because they know the building, they know the brickwork, they've done a lot of work here before. It's just they're used to dealing with Adam, not me. So they're like, who's this guy?
Okay. Moving on to grants and the capital campaign.
Capital campaign is up to $163,072.86. You can see the breakdown of where it is. And part of me and Jean and Cheryl's end of year meeting, whenever we're closing out the fiscal year, is going to be trying to come up with a way to do the monthly reconciliation of interest earned on these accounts, so that we can know what they are instead of what they were a year ago plus what's been donated, because, you know, accounts are sizable enough now that the interest that's adding up is significant, and it would be nice to be able to roll those into our, you know, our numbers, and it would make Ellie happy.
Yes, well, I will continue to report on what the stuff is, but it's the interest isn't that big. It's more what donations that we've been putting in to it. But it is making more than $3 a year on interest, which is what Unibank used to do. So
That's good.
Dude.
But I welcome that Justin is doing this. I think this is great.
Maybe we can get it off your plate.
All right, any other grants to talk about? If not, we can move on to LRP updates.
So, as was mentioned in the financial report, Matt is fond of giving me more money in my personnel budget than I really need. His math goes by spreadsheets, which take the employee and turn them into a cell. And, mine does too, but my spreadsheet's better because it accounts for holidays. It accounts for, like the Saturday rotation, because I know how many Saturdays Deb is scheduled, Gail is scheduled, so on and so forth. And, I can say with certainty that I have an extra $5,772.51 that I need for FY24. So I'm hoping to get approval from him to hire a library assistant for 4 to 5 hours a week. But there's a snag, because in the town warrant for the most recent town meeting, there was the compensation tables that everyone voted on, and library assistant wasn't in there. It got dropped from the tables because since Rebecca was being reclassed as an archivist, it left us without a library assistant, and it didn't automatically populate empty positions. So basically a clerical error led to this position not existing. But I'm hoping that with the paperwork we have and everything, then we can make a case to do it provisionally, at least until it can be officially approved at fall town meeting, that library assistants can exist again. But I'm hoping there's a magical wand we can wave here and just make this happen. If there's not, then we'll be waiting until fall town meeting.
I'd like to just pop in here. I think the library trustees are the ones that should approve this. You can say, and then you can go to Matt and say, well, they voted to do this. I think it's our power, not Matt's, to determine what staffing you need. I really do.
Isn't that Justin's
I just
report?
can't add someone to payroll without his approval.
All right, but we have to approve it first.
Okay, well, that's why it's on the agenda here, Ellie.
Okay, I that we do this.
Well, is it permanent, or is it just when we need it to fill in for vacations and when we're things like that?
I wanted to advocate for another permanent library assistant next year anyway, so this kind of preempts the problem.
But Rebecca could fill in anytime we really needed someone.
Yeah, she can fill in, but she gets paid more now because she's an archivist rather than a library assistant. Or starting July 1st, she'll get paid more because she's being reclassed as an archivist.
But it's kind of a luxury for us to have an archivist.
It is a super luxury, and it is awesome.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right.
I mean, it still blows my mind that we have a Simmons trained graduate who's willing to work for us without benefits, to do what she does.
That is amazing. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
So are you going to, is anybody going to second my motion to?
Do you make a motion, Ellie?
Yes, I'm trying to. I'd like to make a motion to approve hiring a library assistant for 4 to 5 hours a week, beginning July 1st.
Second.
2023.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Yay, new library assistant.
Yay.
That's exciting.
It is. I'm hoping we can use it to relieve a little of, well, I mean, a lot depends on who takes the job.
Yeah.
But what I'm really hoping is I can get someone in who may have a good rapport with youth.
Mm.
Like the teens and tweens. Right now, that's what we lack.
Mhm.
You're not a tough group to work with. I mean, they are a tough group to work with.
Mhm.
Right, cool. All right, moving on to friends.
Friends.
The friends are working on their auction stuff now. So if anybody has anything to donate, where you can write to the Friends of the Library or tell Justin, submit something to Justin, and he can pass it on to Donna. And also, you might have read it, that we are creating sponsorships this year. And where you can go from donating to sponsor, be a sponsor of the auction if you choose not, if you don't have anything else to give except dough, that's fine, you know. And so that it starts at $500, and Justin has it up to $500,000. And if you give that amount, then you get to have a room named after you, maybe a bathroom or something, a handicap bathroom. So that's what we're working on now. So get your auction stuff in. We're meeting at the end of July, I think, next.
And it'll be in October again?
Yeah, it's in October. We decided to use the same dates for this last year because the friends bought this poster. Actually, it was one of the friends bought the poster, and they suggested we keep the same dates. So it's, and now I can't remember what the dates were, but it's it starts on a Monday or Tuesday or something like that now, but that was fine with all of us. And it's after Oktoberfest, which is good. So that buzz is all over. And that at Oktoberfest, we can send out, you know, pass out bookmarks advertising it to remind people to bid lots of times. That's about it.
Bid.
Any other friends' business?
No.
That's enough. All right, back to 1,000 books before kindergarten.
This needs tabled one more month.
Oh no, that's right. That's on vacation. All right. Any other old business? None. We have new business. We have the shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
I like the shrubbery.
I do too.
It's like a secret garden. Very like, you know, it's very literary, I think.
I also like the shrubbery, but some people have really strong feelings about it and they want it cleaned up. So I called Joe and he said that he could trim them back and make it look presentable again for $500. Adam would prefer to just rip them out permanently, but I don't think anyone really wants that. The kicker for me was that one of the survey respondents thought that the library was closed because we weren't maintaining our shrubs.
We're just trying to save taxpayer dollars.
I was like, well, maybe we should do something about the shrubs.
So that's within the realm of not having to go out for quotes, the $500?
Oh yeah, we don't have to go out for quotes for $500.
Okay, good.
We could pay it out of donations or LIG, MEG, or whatever y'all wanted to pay it out of if you want the shrubs cut.
Well, I'll make a motion just to get it moving, that we hire Joe for $500 to cut or trim out the shrubbery, but don't take it all down. So that's it.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any more discussion?
Oh, wait a minute, and use LIG MEG
Yes.
money for
unless we end up with extra from that electric deal. Then we could do it from there.
I don't think I'll be able to get it done.
Well, I think it's
Take too long.
by Thursday.
Yeah, that's true. Friday. Yeah.
I mean, if you can do it before Friday and get me the invoice before July 15th, it's within the realm of possibility. Joe does not tend to be one to be rushed, though, so I don't know if he'll be able to do that.
All right.
So did we vote on that?
Shall we vote? All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We will have neat shrubbery.
Shrubberies. Yep.
All right. Another Eagle Scout project.
Another Eagle Scout project. They keep coming. Jack Dooner has been Ethan Chisholm and Jack Dooner both volunteered here for like a while before they like worked up to asking me if they could do an Eagle Scout project. So like I gave him some options and I told him, you know, one of the things that I've wanted and that patrons have wanted and mentioned is outdoor seating, like a place to lounge, read, and socialize. And the survey indicates strongly too that people want, you know, both indoor and outdoor space where they can just be comfortable. So I gave him the task of trying to make something. And at first it was rejected by the troop because it's like I was asking for, you know, picnic tables with umbrellas and trash cans and things. They're like, well, it needs to be something a lot more permanent, like, you know, maybe putting down, you know, a deck and putting stuff on. Is like, well, I don't want to put down a deck because we're approaching, you know, the possibility of doing construction and renovation. And whatever we put, we're going to want to be able to move. And, you know, we may just want to move it anyway. You know, sometimes we may want to move it out to the back or have it out front. But he has gotten a plan approved by the troop to build 4 Adirondack chairs. Basically, have the troop build the chairs instead of buy them, and get 3 planters, a critter-proof trash can, and one of those like big wire, fancy hexagonal umbrellas, picnic tables that patrons could sit on, which, you know, like aren't hard to clean and maintain. So I sent the proposal last week. It was the weird one because it was like a whole default template proposal followed by his actual proposal. I'm assuming everybody's had a chance to look at it. And so I'm presenting it to you now.
Sounds
I think
good.
a trash can will be an issue just with people doing stupid stuff.
You know, if the trash can becomes an issue because of people doing stupid stuff, I can still use the trash can.
Okay. It was a minor detail.
Because, well, no, it's something that's been brought up. You know, like it was first iteration of the plan, just trash can, and then, you know, Adam, you know, was like, it's got to be rat proof, because if it's not rat proof, you're going to have rats get into the trash can, and that's how we've had rats in the library before. So. So it's already gone through that bit of refinement. And it's interesting, you know, like the contrasting, you know, opinions, because, you know, like in one of the focus groups, you know, everyone was like, well, we would like some outdoor space at the library. And some people were like, well, why do you want outdoor space at the library? Because people might come who aren't library patrons and use it.
It's okay.
Like that's kind of the point, is to bring people to the library.
It's not like a secret club or anything.
No.
Is the table going to be roundish? It's not going to look like a picnic table, I'm hoping. That's what it said in the proposal when I finally read it today. I went past page 7 finally, but it sounded like a picnic table, and I wouldn't. The whole concept of what you're talking about, it would be nice if it's sort of a round table, I think. But is that hexagonal? Is that what you're talking? Is that a round table, sort of?
Yes, it is.
It's not a rectangle.
No, it's not a rectangle. It's roundish.
All right. And then I'm worried about when I read about the planters, that it said, I'm wondering who's in charge of the plants that get put in the planters, and are they going to live through the winter, and who's going to water them? Because it's mentioned the Friends of the Library, and I don't know that they have been asked to do anything here, which
No.
since the people are pretty old that are involved with the Friends of the Library, I don't think that they would necessarily want to be responsible every week to make sure everything was watered correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I can talk to them about the planters. If they do end up in the plan, I'll probably just throw some lavender or something in it that's impossible to kill.
Yeah, there's actually, I went to a wedding recently, and there was this really nifty stuff there. It was purple and spiky, and it was something mint. It was a kind of mint that was really cool and really pretty. And then they had planted it. It was at their house, this wedding, and they had planted it. It was, it was on the altar, but it was also planted in the garden, and it really looked beautiful. It was a purpley thing with the last name of Mint. But that would be that, if that can survive the winter and something like that, that would be good.
Yeah, there's tons of plants that, it seems like the more you hate them, the more they thrive. The lilacs out front are a perfect example.
How can you hate lilacs?
Well, I certainly haven't loved them. I haven't done anything to them. That's why they've grown into a forest and make the library look abandoned.
Or mysteriously literary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds super cool. I just want to make sure that, maintenance isn't going to be problematic for you guys, but it sounds like it's pretty low maintenance. Just
Yeah,
make
there's
sure,
an umbrella over the table.
Umbrella is well anchored.
Yeah, I'm thinking, who's going to take that down in a windstorm?
I've had a lot of umbrella accidents over my lifetimes.
Yeah.
They can be dangerous. So
we'll take care of it.
All right, as long as you're good with it. I think it sounds fun. So we need to approve this.
Well, I think we already, or do we have to?
I don't know. These projects are, I guess we have to approve it.
Just keep
Might
popping
be a
up.
good idea.
Wouldn't hurt anything.
Wouldn't hurt. All right, someone want to make a motion to approve the Eagle Scout Project exterior lounge?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, any more questions, comments?
Ooh, one more thing. I don't know if I emailed this or not, but Ethan Chisholm had extra money after he was done building the story walk. So they are going to replace the boards on the benches out front with either a better treated wood or the PVC stuff so that it won't have to be replaced again. And they're also going to build another story walk post that I can put out front that I can, we can put like a map to this net on it and, explain what the story walk is and how to get there.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, this is it's very, very exciting to have projects happening from the public.
Mhm.
All right, did we vote?
No, we didn't vote. So all those,
I'm losing track. I'm also running out of battery power. So. But we're doing good. I think I'm gonna make it. All right, all those in favor?
I
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? None opposed, and the exterior lounge is approved. All right. Are we still good for July 25th meeting?
Yep.
25th. That's good. All right.
No, that'll be 5 days after our public forum.
That's right.
Oh, that
We'll
would
have
be
lots to
exciting.
talk about. All right. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
6 p.m. All right, so move.
Second.
Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.